Greetings, and welcome back, gentles and ladies. Did I get that skill point twice? I don't know, I guess every time you kill that one, you get a blue butterfly. But we got a mini game to start ourselves out with.
We had a dragon egg for you, but we used it to test our ultra-high-speed super fluidity tunnel. The good news is that it made it to the end of the tunnel without a scratch. The bad news is that there's no way to get it back out now. The tunnel is chock full of Rhinox and floating mines. The only way to retrieve that egg is to defeat every single Rhinox in the tunnel.
Okay. So I'm kind of mixed on this one. Because mechanically it's a fine enough challenge to just, you know, steer your way through. You hit the explosives, you lose. But what I don't, like, see, we missed that Rhinox. And for some reason, that means we lost. And I've never understood why that is. And like, for the most part, you just kind of have to steer left and right, so it's not like... we're gonna be playing a similar minigame later that's a lot more challenging than this, but, you know, like, mechanically, there's a challenge here, so it's better than something like monkeys in a barrel for me, but at the same time, why?
This egg has surprisingly good fluid dynamic characteristics. From now on, all of our submarines will be egg-shaped.
I suppose that explains why submarines are egg-shaped. Like, you know, not explicitly egg-shaped, but they have kind of that rounded look to them. But I mean, it's a simple enough mini-game. I would be surprised if it took anyone more than a few tries to beat it, honestly, but why do you need to kill all the Rhinox?
My plan worked! That dumb octopus dropped the jail key while he was shaking me. Now I can free my friends!
It looks like we have rescued the seals and brought peace back to this land.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. One of the Rhinox had this egg in his lunchbox.
Ew, he's gonna eat it? It's kind of morbid. Spyro gets pretty lucky, actually, that none of the dragons are, like, brutalized. He manages to rescue all of them by the end, spoilers, but yeah. And that's all we should have a complete level now, I believe. Yep, level complete. We are done with Seashell Shore. But, you know, like I was saying, I don't really understand why you need to kill all the Rhinox in the tunnel. They don't give you a valid reason as to why that's the case, so it just feels kind of arbitrary, honestly. That just like something they added on.
Let's head on over to the balloon. The balloon's all ready, sir. Just jump on.
Alright, so like I was saying, your reasoning for rescuing all, for completing all the levels is when you beat a level, NPC comes through the portal, including Sheila.
This balloon will take you to a land closer to the sorceress, Spyro. You can also use it to come back here whenever you want to.
I guess you just hop in the balloon now. Don't ask me how it works. I just showed up for the punch and cookies.
Hop in the balloon whenever you want, Spyro.
This balloon will take you to the great Tiki Lodge in the sky. Just jump on when you're ready.
Yeah, so I do find it kind of cute that one guy was like, I don't fucking know what I was doing here. It's kind of funny. And we got another cutscene, folks.
Listen carefully, you stupid girl. I'm only going to ask you one more time. Why haven't you disposed of that infernal dragon?
I've tried to scare him off, Your Highness. But he's just not afraid of anything.
Not afraid? Not afraid? Why have I been training you all these years? Use some magic! Here's a spell book. Whip up a monster and eliminate him.
Kill him?
I don't care what you do, you useless brat, as long as you get rid of him.
Okay, let's see what we got here. This ought to do it. You, come here.
boy, it looks like we got a boss fight coming up. That was a pretty great scene between the sorceress and Bianca. We're learning more about her background and, you know, who she is.
When I heard the sorceress was planning to ambush you, I got here as fast as I could. No worries, though. This wussy green toad will be no match for the two of us.
So, I'm actually gonna let the music play for a bit. Yes, that's Buzz's Dungeons theme, and I think it's the best boss theme in the entire series. And when I say entire series, I mean the original series, because remember, I've never played Skylanders, and I've only ever played Legend of Spyro New Beginning. I've not finished Eternal Night or Dawn of the Dragon, so... But the music and, I don't know, there's some okay orchestral kind of music in those games. The point is, I've done a top 10 boss themes, I think, on my channel. And I think this was on there. I can't remember where I ranked it. I think it was lower on the list, but still, I really like this boss theme. It's better than anything in Spyro 2, and it's better than all the other boss themes in this game. There's only one boss theme in Spyro 4, and that's just a remix of Gulp's boss theme from Spyro 2, so I'm gonna say this is the best one. It's really good, and yeah, I mean, Buzz himself is pretty easy. I basically just ram him into the lava, and then Sheila will head bash him in. And I do really enjoy the fact that your animal friends that you save who are rebelling against the sorceress, essentially, who are helping you to defeat the sorceress, they help out in the boss battles. They actually contribute, which is a nice touch, and I really enjoy it. It's kind of, I don't know, I guess your friends from the second game helped in boss battles too, but, you know.
Okay, Dragon, you've managed to survive longer than I expected. But you haven't the slightest idea what sort of dangers lie ahead of you. I suggest you grab your cat friend and whatever eggs you found and hightail it back home while you still can. I'm telling you this for your own good, you know.
So, Bianca... do I want to talk about this yet? I'll save it for later. But, I mean, so far she's been a pretty interesting antagonist for the series. Like, you could tell that she was very hesitant to attack Spyro with that monster. And, you know, you could tell that there's kind of this dynamic of the sorceress has been kind of molding her to her will, and, you know, Bianca's not really sure if it's sure in the sorceress's methods, is what I'm trying to say. Look at the texturing on those hills. It looks so good. I don't know what they did differently, but this game is the best looking one. I'm serious. I love the look of that tree as well. And I really enjoy this hub world theme as well. I don't know, Midday Gardens is probably not my favorite of the hub world themes in this game, but it's still pretty damn good, I must say. It's better than all the Spyro 2 hub world themes, which were all just, you know, random fantasy ambiance. There's an actual song here, which is kind of neat. And looks like we got a hunter to talk to up here.
Hey, Spyro! Zoe told me that if we hit that doodad up there, the portal will open. Why don't you try spitting this rock at it?
So you guys might remember this mechanic from the other games. Go into first person and shoot that target, and the portal will open.
I'll see you in there later.
So I guess he's gonna help us out in that level. Actually, I don't think he ever does show up in that level. But yeah. So before the part ends, we'll actually be going back to Sunrise Spring for one quick thing. We're gonna save the other section in the Tiki Lodge. Or, I'm sorry, the section is the Tiki Lodge, but we're gonna save that special section of Molten Crater for later, when we get a certain upgrade that will be very useful to us. Over here, we got another egg. It's a little brown dragon with buck teeth named Mingus. Which sounds... it's an interesting name, that's all I have to say. And we have another egg thief running around. I guess they have infested this realm as well. And we got another one of those chests, so there might be a power-up gate in this stage, believe it or not. So, yes, the best strategy I always find with egg thieves is to kind of like take shortcuts. Like, sort of follow slightly off to the side of them so you go that extra bit faster. Oops. I'm so used to skipping those animations just by habit that I accidentally skipped that one as well. So, my bad. But I think you guys can, if you really need to see that animation, you can look it up on the internet. I'm gonna try not to skip the other ones, but you know, sometimes things happen. My sticky fingers, you know, trigger finger is what I'm trying to say. My trigger finger goes off on the start button. Now I digress. Ladders are in this game, as you might have seen out of the corner of your eye. There's a ladder up there. Hunter will tell us all about it.
When you see a ladder or walls that look climbable, just jump onto it, and you'll grab it with your claws.
And, you know, it's pretty easy to get up. You know, it works the exact same way as in Spyro 2. And actually, Spyro 2 does way more with ladders than this game ever does. I think that level, maybe Desert Ruins, are the only stages in this game that have ladders in them. Ladders get really shafted. Surprisingly, Enter the Dragonfly does the most with them. There's a really interesting minigame in Enter the Dragonfly that uses the ladders pretty effectively, but this game, not so much.
Hi, Spyro. This is a Super Flame power-up. You'll find more just like it scattered throughout all the worlds. Why don't you try this one out by using it to break all these planters? I
thought she was done. Alright, I gotta be paying more attention, not just, you know, mashing my way through. See, the problem is, I've been playing Ocarina of Time. By the way, forced backtracking right here.
Spyro, I've got a special task for Sparks. Meet me back here later.
That was my best impression of that voice actress. What'd you think? It's pretty bad, right? Anyway, there are these planters hidden around, or not really hidden, they're kind of in plain sight, actually. And if you destroy them all, you will uncover a dragon egg, so we'll go for that in just a minute. I'm just gonna go grab these gems real quick. Actually, quite a few of those things left over here. Anyways, I think there's a time limit. Like, you have to get them all in a sequence, otherwise they respawn. And because I looked at that sign, it turned off the power-up for some reason. It's really not that difficult to get them all in the time limit at all. Just their way to show you how to use the Super Flame Breath ability. You have rescued Matt. And I let the animation play out this time. Fantastic. I'm gonna go through this gate real quick. Because, as you remember, there was that steel chest we could not open earlier, so we'll go over there and grab that real quick. Even the hub world is designed like a giant donut. And there's one weird thing I noticed, but I might save this for a level we'll be playing later, that the animal body levels are actually differently structured than that. But we'll talk more about that when we play an upcoming level, because that's where it's a really big case in point. So it just makes more sense to talk about that there. Let's see, we have to go up that ledge, and that should be it. The stage, I believe. Modesty. That's cute. Like, those little Dragon Egg cutscenes remind me a lot of the intro-outro cutscenes from Spyro 2. Like, they have that same kind of weird feel to them, but there's a lot less murder this time, so... I prefer it that way. I prefer my, kiddie platformers to have less murder in them, but... You know... I already talked plenty about that in the last playthrough, so I probably don't need to talk about it again. Regardless... Now that we finished the stat hub, so we're actually gonna go back here and play a level we just unlocked. As you can see.
Spyro, I found an egg, but only Sparks will be able to reach it. There's a small hole that leads to a crawdad farm. I can take him there if he's ready.
So yeah, there are Sparks bonus worlds in this game where we get to play as Sparks the Dragonfly. So Sparks is one of the playable characters in this game. He's beyond the main 4 secondary ones.
Maybe before you take on the nasty crawdads, I should give you some help. To start, let's practice shooting. Press the circle button to shoot these targets.
So this is basically an overhead shooter, is what it is. And if the Spyro HD collection does get made, like the remasters...
You can also move quickly by charging, like Spyro. To charge, hold down the square button. Use your charge to chase down this fast enemy.
So yeah, and one thing I'm not a big fan of with this minigame, with this play style, rather.
Now for the hard part. Being a maneuverable dragonfly, you can also slide in any direction. To slide, hold down the L1 or R1 button. Then move with the analog stick or directional button. Try sliding up and down to hit the targets in this room.
So what she means by slide is that there's a strafe feature. You just hold down. It's exactly like Ratchet and Clank, actually. You hold down the shoulder button, specifically L1 or R1, and then you can, you just move and shoot. And you can move in any direction. But if this game does get that HD remaster, Jesus,
on your travels, you'll notice butterflies that give you health, just like in the Dragon Worlds. Not only that, but some butterflies will give you special powers, though only for a short time. Just eat any power-up butterfly, and then press the X button to use that power-up. Your power...
Alright, yeah, the tutorials are kind of annoying. Thankfully, when I'm playing this on my own, I can skip them, but not during the playthrough. I'm just getting, I'm just itching to get going here, and I don't know, I'm just not my most patient today for this playthrough.
Looks like you're ready, Sparks. If you need any more help, just choose the help option from the pause menu.
So once again, if you need to review your moves, there you go. And they regularly remind you of that too, so it's just like, I don't know. So this is obviously a very different play style from what we've seen with Sheila or Spyro so far. But I don't really mind that at all, because I think these levels are pretty damn fun, honestly. They do a good job explaining how the mechanics work. The design of the levels themselves is pretty fun. The controls work just fine, though I do have a criticism. That criticism is, there's no actual analog control. You snap to 8 directions. And I think what they were trying to do was make it easier to aim diagonally at stuff, but it just makes it harder, honestly. And you have the D-pad if you want to go in just 8 directions, so I don't know what they were thinking. But what I was trying to say before is, if this game does get that HD remaster that's been, the rumors have been going around lately, we are probably gonna get one, but it hasn't been confirmed yet, or who's even making it. I hope they give you the option to play with like a twin stick control scheme. If you guys don't know what a twin stick scheme is, if you've ever played Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, there are a bunch of twin stick minigames in Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, which is basically where you move with one stick and then aim and shoot with the other. So like if you're pressing in any direction on the right analog stick, you're gonna be shooting in whatever direction you're aiming in. And I feel like, as long as we're gonna remake this for PS4 and whatnot, You know, twin stick control scheme would work perfectly for this mini game. And then you could have like you could just hold down R while using the twin stick to use your special ability, for example. That would work swimmingly. I mean, the control scheme they've got here is fine. It's pretty easy to learn. Whether you're using the D-pad or the analog stick, even though it's not real analog per se, I do find the analog stick is a little bit more responsive. So I genuinely tend to go with that. Looks like the crab from Aquaria Towers is back in a much smaller size. And we have these annoying guys. But obviously, as you can see, Sparks has a health bar. You could strafe and shoot at people. It's just a very intuitive control scheme. The level design is perfectly fine. I have no complaints with this one, folks. I would be very surprised if people hate playing as Sparks. But, you know, that does seem to be the most common complaint against this game, is that there are too many gameplay styles and not enough focus on Spyro. And I'll be talking more about that later, but I don't really see what there is to complain about with Sparks here. He plays just fine. His gameplay is fun and easy to learn. Like, you'd have to be very much the type of person that it has to be nothing but core gameplay to hate Sparks. I mean, some of the later levels get trickier, but, you know, that's difficulty progression. It makes sense for it to be like that. And I don't know, I guess the camera's not the best in the world. And a damn timer went off. We'll finish this stage and we'll call it a part. I mean, as you can see, there's some backtracking elements within the stage. Like here, there was like a thing in the center with a gem in it that we could not destroy before because we did not have the... This might be my favorite power-up, actually, because it hits an enemy and then homes in on the next enemy, the nearest enemy after that, so... It's a fun, interesting little power-up, that thing. Grab that gem, and unfortunately, there is no treasure hunt feature in the Sparks level, which, I don't know, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. These levels are pretty straightforward, you know, there's just like a top-down shooter thing. I don't know. I'd be very surprised... I don't know, I guess I would be, because it seems like more and more nowadays people are really cracking down on alternate gameplay styles, but I personally have never minded the Sparks minigames. I always have fun playing them. There aren't that many of them, and they, honestly, in terms of the secondary characters, Sparks might actually be one of the best in the game, like better than Sheila for sure. There is one character I like more than Sheila. That we'll be meeting towards the end of the game. That would be my favorite alternate playstyle in terms of alternate characters and whatnot. But this guy is pretty easy. You just need to use your strafe to beat him. And upon beating him, you will uncover a dragon egg. And that's it. It's pretty short level. Like, it doesn't drag on for 300 years. Intuitive level design, good level design, good controls. I can't really bring myself to dislike Sparks' gameplay in this game. I think it's perfectly fine. But yeah, we finished his first level.
Nice work, Sparks. You've beaten the Crawdad King and found the lost egg. Not only that, but some of the dragon magic seems to have rubbed off on you. Now you can pick up gems when they're even further away from Spyro.
So that's why you want to go play these levels as soon as possible. Thankfully, that signpost is right next to the balloon, so backtracking-wise, it doesn't take that long to get to it. But every time you beat a boss, you will unlock the possibility of playing a new Sparks level. And every time you beat a Sparks level, Sparks gains a new ability. And the treasure finder ability, that's how you unlock it normally. And the idea is that Sparks is being exposed to dragon magic, which is upgrading him, but it doesn't make any fucking sense because he hangs around Spyro all the time, and Spyro has been opening tons of dragon eggs, yet that doesn't upgrade him. I mean, a minor point, but you know, I talked about a lot of minor points in Spyro too, so I figured I'd draw attention to that. That makes no sense, but from a gameplay standpoint, it's perfectly fine. Play a Sparks level, upgrade Sparks. So it's a good incentive to play them beyond 100%. So yeah, definitely go play those. Those come highly recommended. Even if you don't like the gameplay, you're well rewarded for doing so. So yeah. I will see you guys in part 6, and we'll head on to that level over there, which is actually, yeah, we'll talk more about that later. Until then, I'm EXO, and I'll see you guys next time.